smiling, which is not, oh, very good. SSS is smiling. So is Mridul. And Umesh also smiles. Very good. तो कीप स्माइलिंग यार, क्या है? आप लोग इतनी दूर आ गए, इतना अच्छा आपने परफॉर्म किया मेंस में, लाखों लोग बैठे उसमें से आप लोग सेलेक्ट हुए हैं, तो यू शुड बी हैप्पी अबाउट इट, पैट योरसेल्फ ऑन द बैक एंड फील हैप्पी अबाउट इट, राइट? और जो हम बता रहे हैं उसको करते रहिए, उससे आपकी हेल्प होगी। मैं बार बार इस चीज को कहता हूं, इट इज माई एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ पास्ट 6 years एंड माई पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस दैट वट एवर वी आर टेलिंग यू इज नॉट थ्योरेटिकल एट ऑल। नो वन विल टेल यू टू डू दैट। सब आपको कहेंगे इस मॉक में चले जाओ, यहाँ भागो, ये पढ़ लो, इस लाइब्रेरी में चले जाओ। हम आपसे नहीं कहते ये सब करने को। हम आपसे नहीं कहते कि आप लाइब्रेरी में जाके और ज्ञान अर्जन कीजिए। यू आर सफिशिएंट, बिकॉज यू नो इन वन ऑफ द ग्रुप डिस्कशंस आई फाउंड somebody said, sir, I have to go to a library. I said, if it is a choice between library and group discussion, go to group discussion. And it's an indication to all of you. Your priorities should be very straight. You must understand that how important are these group discussions. And I was suggesting to Rajat that after, discussing some items for 15 days, these groups will morph into mock interview groups. And I can guarantee you that there can't be a better mock interview than you interviewing others. Because it is beneficial to the person who's being interviewed and also to the person who are interviewing. Everyone stands to gain. लेकिन आप लोग मेरी कुछ बात मानते नहीं हैं। जैसे दिव्यांश जी ने, मैं कह रहा हूं कैमरा खोल दीजिए, अंकित से कह रहा हूं कैमरा खोल लीजिए, प्रतीक से कह रहा हूं कैमरा खोल दीजिए। मैं कभी कभी सोचता हूँ ईश्वर से इतनी प्रार्थना कर ली होती तो दर्शन दे दिए होते उन्होंने, है ना? आप लोग कैमरा ही नहीं खोलते, मालूम नहीं क्या बात। कुछ आप लोगों को शर्म आती है कमरे का, तो यहाँ शर्म आएगी तो बोर्ड के सामने कैसे जाएंगे? Quickly. See, I don't want to waste time. We have to get cracking. Okay, so today, what we plan to do is to discuss some more issues. I had received a number of requests individually from many of you who had asked me certain questions. And I had told them, please raise them in the group because I want everyone to be benefited by this conversation. So, irrespective of the fact that Kishan Gupta, Jay Kumar Ade, Om, Sabi phone refused to open their video, Kishan Gupta has finally relented. So smile Kishan, you don't stand to lose anything. Wonderful. भाई एक बात तो मानते हैं, कैमरा खोले ना खोले मेरे कहने पर मुस्कुरा तो देते ही हैं, बट साबी फोन और जय कुमार आडे और ओम, they still I can't see them. Jivesh. Okay, so what we do today is, as we did last time, you will be those who are going to raise questions and you are the ones who are going to give answers. My job will be to see how to couch that answer in a manner that you are able to impress the board. So that's the job, right? So we get going. The first question. Yes, I'm so glad. So there is SSS. I don't know what your name is, but I'm assuming it is not Schutzstaffel of the Germany. But yes, you are out somewhere, so you give you the first chance. Raise your questions. Unmute yourself, Mr. SSS.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, SSS. What's your name?
Sir, my name is Sumesh Sanjay Surwade.
Okay. Yes, Sumesh.
Sir, my question is that in light of recent Maoist attack in Chhattisgarh, the target line which is given by Honorable Home Minister that by 26th of March 2026 we will be ending the naxalism. So whether it is feasible or how much we can achieve and whether this target is sustainable.
Okay, so the question here is whether the target of eliminating all the extremists in Chhattisgarh by 2026 is a feasible target. What is your answer? Anybody, any volunteers? No, for answering, please raise your physical hand. I mean, we have the same persons as in the last time. Mridul was always there. I can't see. Okay, Kishan, you answer this question. Unmute yourself. Listen to these answers very carefully.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I would say that deadline has been set by the Honorable Home Minister, and in this regard, we must see the approach that the government has adopted vis-a-vis eradicating the naxalism from India. They have adopted a true three-pronged approach, sir. First is the developmental approach, where they are establishing infrastructure, providing basic amenities to the people. Second aspect is, sir, they are providing a mobilized scheme to let the Naxalites surrender arms and come into the mainstream. And third aspect is to use proportionate violence against those who are not relenting and who are not giving up arm. So if we stick to these three aspects, then maybe, sir, we will be able to achieve the goal of the Honorable Union Home Minister to eradicate Naxalism by 2026 March.
It is such a well-structured answer. I'm very particular about how do you present your case. And here, I think what Kishan has done is he has actually brought out the three important aspects of tackling naxalism. It's an extremely well-structured answer. Anybody else wants to add, subtract, or comment on this? Anybody? A physical hand would be welcome. Okay, Mridul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Naxalism is regarded as the biggest internal security threat in India, as also said by our former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. And for this to eradicate, our government is having three-pronged approach. Basically, the Samadhan doctrine, which we are following, and the developmental approach, and the surrendering and the providing livelihood to the ex-Naxalites is our multi-pronged approach, and also taking steps to eradicate the Naxalism, the hardcore Naxalites, and developing an approach in which the developmental schemes are implemented on the ground in a very fairly and equitable manner so that we can end this Naxalism problem by the year 2026. And we are on the track of achieving it, except for some instances like we are seeing at the end of this Naxalism era.
Okay, I think both answers were very good. I will just add one thing on how to open the remark. I have often said it's very important how you start answering the question. And if you start answering the following manner, just consider it. Sir, it may not be very easy to determine whether naxalism will be eradicated by 26 or not. But this is certain that the government seems to be moving in the right direction. Right? This, to my mind, would be a very practical opening remark. You're not saying, sir, it will be done. What you're saying is, and that's what the government looks at, whether you are moving in the right direction. And what is happening now is perhaps a move in that direction. Is that okay with all of you? I think since both the answers were very good, I'm not discussing it further because I'd like to take as many questions as possible. So we take the next question. The next question comes from Umesh.
Thank you, sir.
Both answers were very good. Excellent answers, both of you. Yeah.
Sir, actually, I had one different opinion about the previous answer, sir.
Okay.
Sir, since I have served there, sir, what I have observed is, sir, Naxalism is a set of ideology, sir. So, and I think an ideology can never be eradicated. We can only minimize the number of people who subscribe to that ideology, sir. And that has a generational gap, sir. I mean, the new generations which are coming, so we should educate them. They should be given exposure, and development is definitely there, sir, which should be improved so that they don't subscribe to that ideology, sir.
So, Umesh,
sir,
if you heard the question correctly, all of you listen to this very, very carefully. That's why I want your videos to be open. You have to be very careful about the nature of the question asked. The question was not that what will you do to eliminate extremists? The question was whether it will be eliminated. You understand the difference between the two questions?
Sir.
If the question was, what will you, if you were posted there, what will you do or what should be done to eliminate naxalism? Your answer is correct. But the question was that the Home Minister has announced something, whether that will happen or not. That's the question.
Sir, right, sir.
So you have to be very carefully listening to the conversation. And that's, आप लोग ये समझते नहीं, आपको लाइब्रेरी में बैठ के किताब में नहीं समझ में आएगी चीज. कई लोग जो हैं ग्रुप डिस्कशन में इसलिए नहीं आते हैं कि उनके लिए कोई और चीज बहुत महत्वपूर्ण आ गई है. अब मालूम नहीं कौन सी चीज महत्वपूर्ण आ गई है. मुझे सब लोगों से बार बार कहता हूं, 3 महीने बाद मुझे फोन करके कहोगे, सर आपकी बात सुन ली होती तो शायद मेरे 5-10 नंबर और अच्छे आ जाते. कई लोग कहते हैं मुझसे, लेकिन इस समय नहीं सुनते. इस समय वो इतने लोगों की सुनते हैं कि लाइब्रेरी में बैठ जाओ, ये किताब पढ़ लो, ऑप्शनल तैयारी कर लो. वो सब बेकार है, मैं बता रहा हूं आपको. What you have to do is, and what group discussion does is, you have to listen very carefully to what is being said. I am repeating it. You have to very carefully, you have to get into the habit of listening carefully. So Umesh's answer was perfect, but the question should have been different.
Sir.
तुरंत बोर्ड आपसे पूछेगा, मैंने तो आपसे नहीं पूछा था कि आप कैसे सुधरेगा वहां पर, मैंने तो पूछा था क्या सुधर रहा है. You understand the subtle difference between the questions. Can I see some nods? फिर आप लोग बुत बन के बैठ जाते हैं, तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. जैसे अतुल कुमार ओझा साहब इतनी ठंडी जगह पे बैठे हैं, वैसे भी टोपी लगा रखी है. अरे थोड़े गर्दन हिला दीजिए तो मुझे भी अच्छा लगेगा. नहीं सुनाई दिया उनको. अभी बिल्कुल वैसे ही बैठे हैं अतुल कुमार ओझा साहब. अरे वाह 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 वाह, देखिए सबने आपकी गर्दन हिलती हुई देखी, सब मुस्कुराए, कितना अच्छा लगेगा. आप सोचिए इस बात को कि आपके गर्दन हिलाने से, मुस्कुराने से अगर बोर्ड मेंबर्स मुस्कुरा दिए तो आपके नंबर बढ़ जाएंगे. मैं बता रहा हूं आपको, व्यक्तिगत अनुभव से बता रहा हूं. अब आप बिल्कुल बुत बने बैठे रहेंगे तो फिर जितना देना उतना दे देंगे, बढ़ेंगे नहीं नंबर. कोशिश कीजिए, थोड़ा प्रयास करना पड़ेगा कि आप कॉन्वर्सेशन का पार्ट बने. एंड दैट इज व्हाई इंसिस्ट, भैया वीडियो खोलो, मैं शक्लें देखना चाहता हूं आपकी. खाली आपकी वाणी से नंबर नहीं मिलेगा वहां पर, आपके हाव भाव से नंबर मिलेगा. आप कैसे नोट कर रहे हैं, कैसे मुस्कुरा रहे हैं, ये सब चीजें ऑब्जर्व होती हैं. और बिल्कुल बुद्ध बने रहेंगे तो जितना देना है वो दे देंगे आपको. That is why I insist that all of you should participate in group discussions, because this is what that matters. आप कितनी किताब पढ़ लो अगले 15-20 दिन में इंटरव्यू से पहले, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ना. ओके, सो गुड. सो वी गो ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. श्रेय शुक्ला.
Good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग श्रेय.
My question is, should women be allowed in the combat post in the armed forces, especially Indian Army? Because Supreme Court has allowed Indian government to be participating in the permanent commission post, but it's still on the armed forces to decide whether they should be allowed in the combat post. And there is a view that liberal ideas are meant for the peace time, but they might not lead us to win the real wars. So my question is, should they be allowed in the combat post?
So formulate a question.
So should women be allowed in the combat post in the armed forces,
Correct.
especially
Correct.
Indian
The
Army?
question is, should women be allowed to be a part of combat forces in the army? Any volunteers for answers? I can see one physical hand. There's another. Kishan, you already spoken and spoken very well. I want to give a chance to somebody else. Okay, Shashi Kala. Shashi Kala, unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, here I would like to mention the fact that the Supreme Court has allowed the permanent commission, and this showed a way forward that women should be allowed, and also they are providing very valuable contribution in the army, and it may also lead to gender sensitization in the army also. So that's why, in my opinion, women should be allowed to perform in the army. This is what I think.
Anybody else? Anybody else? I'm locating the physical hands here for answers. Volunteer. Okay, Rakesh Meena. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have served in border security force for more than 4 years, and in my company there were many female Jawans, and sir, definitely the answer is definitely yes. We should allow women into the army or in the military, because this has been the this has been the culture everywhere around the world. And today the today the battle is becoming more and more technical, where we are using more and more equipments. And when when the uh, when the modern warfare is becoming more and more technical with gadgets, then I think everyone can use those gadgets in an effective manner. For example, I would like to give one example here. Right now, the women are playing a significant role in the Russia-Ukraine war, where they are operating drones, and at the same time, uh, in the border security force, we have lot of surveillance equipment, and that surveillance equipment is operated by women, and they are operating it very well. And recently there was one news where the woman uh, shot down one drone that was coming from the Pakistan side. So women has shown women have shown that they can fight the battle in a really good manner, and if we provide them enough training, then they are no less than any man.
Excellent answer, Rakesh. The perspective that you bring in for technology is a very fresh perspective, which buttresses the argument that there is no reason why women should not be in the combat force. My only suggestion, Rakesh, to you is, please, when is your interview?
Sir, it is on 14th of February.
You have around 3 months' time. With the manner in which you are answering your question, if you practice the drill that I'm suggesting, your articulation will improve. Something which you took 3 minutes to speak, you can speak in 1.5 minutes. I could discern that you are struggling for words, though the content was brilliant. You gave a new perspective. My friend, please don't overlook this aspect of reading the editorial article aloud every morning and speaking it out in your own words and participating in group discussions. This applies to all of you. You may have great content that Rakesh has, but while he packages that answer, in my view, if I was sitting the board, probably the packaging could have been better, but the idea is very good. The answer is excellent. Friends, I think both answers were okay. The second one was very, very good. But how about starting the answer? See, I'm only trying to value add to what you're saying from my perspective. If I were to answer this question, I will start by asking a question myself. I'll start by saying, sir, let us try and understand the reason why women should participate. Is there any reason why they shouldn't participate? Because the assumption is that they are physically not as strong as men folk, and combat requires physical prowess. Now, this itself can be questioned, and that's where Meena's answer comes in. Sir, though it may be argued that women are as physically as well off as men, but let us not get into that argument of physical. The argument today is that most of the battles today are fought on technology front, where many women could be better than men. So there is no reason why women should not be part of combat. Do you agree with this approach? The point that I'm trying to drive home here is that you must try and think in terms of structuring answers so that they, जैसे होता है ना, लाजवाब आप कर देते हैं किसी को. I mean, no one can counter this point because you're not arguing. You're not saying that पंजा लड़ाएंगे तो men would be better than women. I mean, what are we talking about? We are living in 21st century where the issue of physical prowess does not arise at all. And that could only be also, that is a spacious argument for not allowing women. The rough and tumble of the combat. Women have done that. So you say that, sir, let us not get into that argument, though there is a valid argument that women are as strong as men. But let us not get into that argument because today's combat is not a physical combat. Are you all okay with this? Can I see some nods? Is there any disagreement to this approach? प्रतीक, आप कहीं और देख रहे हैं. प्रतीक, अब हैं, यही है ना? अरे तुम हाँ ऐसे मुड़िया हिला दीजिए तो हमें भी लगेगा आप हमारे साथ हैं. मतलब लगता है ये कभी एकाध से इतना मैं मिन्नत कर रहा हूं आप लोगों से. अरे भाई कुछ बोले नहीं तो अपना गर्दन ही हिला दीजिए, थोड़ी सी मुस्कुरा दीजिए, हमें अच्छा लगेगा. ठीक है, ओके. सो वी गो ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Which is the next question that you have? Oh, there's nobody here. No questions here. Okay. Umesh.
Hello, sir. I have one question, sir. Recently, indigenization drive is going there in defense industry, sir. Like light combat aircraft, and we have been designing the 5th generation aircraft also. So, and at the same time, we are procuring some certain equipment which are say 50 years old. We are procuring Mirage 2000, sir, which are 1980s era aircraft, second hand, that too from UAE, sir. So, the present chief of Air Force, he also said, sir, the indigenization cannot be at the cost of national security. So, sir, how to give a balanced answer on this, sir?
Okay, first frame your question. You made a statement. Frame a question. You're seeking an answer.
Question can be, sir, that do you think the indigenization that we are going on will meet the time and challenge of our security requirements?
Okay, the question is, will the push to indigenization in armaments be good enough for our security environment? right?
Yes, sir. Given the whole world has advanced, lot of countries have advanced way ahead of us, sir.
Okay, now who's volunteering to answer this question? यार वही लोग आते हैं यार, अब कोई और भी हाथ उठाओ यार, नहीं तो मैं नाम लूंगा फिर किसी का। कोई और हाथ उठाइए, नहीं तो मैं पूछता हूं। लेकिन कैमरा ही बंद कर दिया लोगों ने, बहुत बढ़िया, जिसमें देख ही ना पाऊं। आप बोर्ड से तो भाग नहीं पाएंगे कि सडनली पतली गली से निकल गए पीछे से, ये तो नहीं निकल पाएंगे, वहां तो रहना पड़ेगा ना आपको। तो यहाँ कैमरा आप बंद कर सकते हैं, बोर्ड में नहीं रह सकते। सो आई विल कॉल आउट अ नेम, अनन्या। व्हाट वुड बी योर आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन? There were hands there, but I'm asking Ananya to answer that question. Yes, Ananya.
Sir, indigenization will lead to India's growth in defense sector, sir. It will ensure more security, safety. It will also lead to economic growth, sir. It won't lead to any threat from others, sir.
You know, Ananya, I don't know whether you've been in my previous sessions also. I had very specifically and categorically said, don't start with a yes or no.
Yes, sir. I forgot. Sorry, sir.
You forgot. और देखिए, जितने लोग आज अटेंड नहीं कर रहे हैं वही गलती बोर्ड के सामने करेंगे और फिर कहेंगे सर बस 4 नंबर से छूट गए सर हम। See, listen to what I am telling you carefully. It's based on experience. Never start with words like definitely, it will not. No, you are not in a position to answer categorical yes or no. I mean, people sitting at the top do not know categorical answers. आप कैसे कह सकते हैं ये होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए, ये होगा, ऐसा होगा? How can you say that? And that is where again group discussions will help you, where you will stop each other from making these categorical statements, definitive statements. You are confident, but your knowledge is limited. So your answer should reflect the limitation of the knowledge that you have, right? Anybody else wants to attempt an answer to this question? Okay, Sanjay Meena.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir, sir, both indigenization of defense equipments as well as national security is important for India. So we are ensuring that our national security is maintained. That's why we are importing defense equipment. Meanwhile, we are developing our capabilities in indigenous manufacturing. We have produced BrahMos with co-production with Russia, and it's one of the best in world. So we are developing our capabilities and also diversifying our defense imports from various countries so that we are not dependent. So over a time, so we will able to develop our indigenous capacity so that we can reduce our dependence in import, and it will help India to ensure national security based on its own capabilities.
Sanjay, when is the interview?
The 24th of Feb.
You will do very well. Your answer was very good. Continue it in this manner. Keep practicing.
Okay, sir.
Keep practicing. Your answer is close to perfection, because that's you are trying to bring about a balance between indigenization and national security, and you're also saying that over a period of time we'll gradually indigenize so that we are not dependent on that. But at this point in time, it may not be possible to be either totally indigenized or totally import. Totally import means total dependence on some outside power. So I think you brought about that thing pretty well in your answer. Anybody else want to try an answer to this? Physical hand? Kishan, Puneet, all of you have. Okay, we have Sabi iPhone, whatever your name is.
Sir, we can answer like that. Sir, we can see the problem from two angles. For the short term, for the short term, in the
Good. I think you are in the you started well, so carry on. Oh, you shut yourself. Sabi, your phone, you are on mute now. You have to unmute yourself again and answer the question.
Am I audible, sir?
You're audible now. Start again.
Sir, we need to look at this problem from two angles. In the short term, we need to import the defense equipments from the various nations to meet the targets of the to meet the target of nations from the two front of war. But on the long term, a nation has done various measures like the Make in India, Defense India, and collaboration with the nations to meet the long-term targets of self-indigenization.
Okay, let me analyze what Sabi says here. First, Sabi, my request to you is and suggestion to you is keep practicing the morning reading. I hope you are doing it. Participating in group discussion, your articulation will improve. The second part I want to analyze. You know, what is your names? I'm saying Sabi time and again.
Sarabraj Singh.
Huh?
Sarabraj Singh.
Sarabraj, what Sarabraj says, he brings in certain concepts on which you can rest assured you will be asked questions. So you can do it consciously. You brought in Make in India, you got in self-reliance. These are things that the board will pick up. Now, if you're doing it consciously, good enough. But don't do it accidentally that you mention something about which you don't know they're going to ask you about it. That's how the board interview moves. They try and pick questions from the answers that you're giving. And hence, it is important for you to practice answering. And that's where group discussions and editorial article reading is important, because you don't inadvertently mention something about which you are not aware. If you are aware, very good. Mention that the moment you mention Make in India, some board member will pick it up and ask you about Make in India. So be prepared for that. Okay. Anybody else volunteering to answer this question? Shrey, you've already spoken. Okay, and I see Anushka. Anushka, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah.
Sir, on this issue, I would like to say that the indigenization of the defense sector is very important given the geopolitical climate of the global community that is heading towards. Given the strategic interest that India holds with various relations, I think that the indigenization would help India to make independent choices in its own forte. Second, it would also diversify the exports and help build relation with the developing countries as such, like it has exported BrahMos to Philippines also. So it can emerge as a major market in economy sector also. But at the same time, we see that India is also diversifies its defense export from Russia, from Israel, from USA, which is important to maintain the various ties and not maintain the dependency on one particular region. And gradually, with these initiatives, as mentioned, India would move towards a stronger defense market and a self-reliant economy in defense sector.
Brilliant. Anushka, brilliant answer. And can somebody sitting here point out she made a one critical mistake somewhere in using a term? Anybody picked that term? Anybody? Yes, Harsh. Please, Harsh को unmute कीजिए. Harsh.
I think she interchanged export and import.
Excellent. See, you don't have to worry about it. It happens with anybody. So it's not for Anushka. I think your answer was brilliant. If I'll give you 9 out of 10 on that answer. I'm telling you, I'll give you 9 out. And that mistake is inadvertent. It doesn't matter. I wanted whether others were listening to you properly. Board interview is as much listening as speaking. And I see blank faces when I ask this question, did Anushka commit an error anywhere? And Anushka, you don't bother about it because that's a very inadvertent error. No marks will be deducted for that. Don't worry. They will ask you that and you can correct yourself. That's it. It happens with anybody. But others, I'm a bit surprised. You all have to be extremely attentive to the answers that are given, questions that are being asked, because that's where you're going to miss out. You remember in the first question or in the second question, I was saying that the question was different and you were answering differently. That is the reason for group discussions, friends. लाइब्रेरी में पढ़ के आपको कुछ नहीं मिलना, अब मैं बता रहा हूं आपको. Indulge in group discussions, and I'm surprised some of you are not here. They are missing out on this very interesting conversation, and I wish they could listen to the answer of Anushka. How well she articulated. Anushka, I have no doubt that you'll qualify. If you not messed up your mains paper, you are there. Because you have the ingredients of not only doing well in the interview, I can make out ingredients of a good civil servant as well. So God bless you. Carry on this way. When is your interview, Anushka? Unmute yourself. Please unmute, Anushka. Yes.
Sir, it's on 28th January.
So it's not very far. You are absolutely on the right track. And may I request you that after the interview, you continue to participate in a group discussion. Is that okay?
Yes,
Is that
sir,
too
sure.
much? Because what the manner in which you answered question should be a lesson to others. So we would request you, I know you would like to relax after the interview, but it would be great if you could participate in the discussion. Rajat, please send her a special invite for all the discussions that we're going to have after that. And secondly, if you could continue to participate in the group discussion that you are in, they will benefit from it.
Yes, sir, I'll.
देखिए मैं तो रिटायरमेंट के 6 साल बाद भी वही कर रहा हूँ जो आपसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ
नहीं सर, I'll
आपने तो भी शुरुआत की है करिए थोड़ा दूसरों का भी भला होना चाहिए there's a lot of pleasure that you derive by helping others so continue in the group discussion and that excellent Anushka keep it that way next
Thank
question any other question okay Abhishek
Hello, sir.
yes Abhishek
Good evening, sir.
good evening
Sir, I have question regarding, for example, suppose a controversial topic is there. Suppose same-sex marriage is there.
yeah
So we may have our opinion different than government's opinion. Suppose I may be supporting the same-sex marriage, but government is not supporting. So can we take what our stand is and oppose government in front of board?
okay so let's pose this as a question should same-sex marriage be allowed in India I'm posing this as a question because when you answer that question you will have to take into account what is government stand what is the legal stand what is happening around the question is how do you formulate an answer the question here is should same-sex marriage be allowed in our country okay Dharampal hasn't spoken so I'll go to Dharampal yes Dharampal
गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन सर हाल ही में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने एक डिसीजन में जो आर्टिकल 377 जो आईपीसी की धारा 377 थी सर उसको डिक्रिमिनलाइज किया और सेम सेक्स जो यूनियन है सर उसको अलाउ किया था तो उस बेसिस पे ये मांग की गई कि जो सेम सेक्स मैरिज है उसको लीगलाइज किया जाना चाहिए लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में इस मुद्दे पे किसी भी प्रकार का समर्थन नहीं दिखाया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी इस पे कोई निर्णय नहीं दिया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि ये गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा डिसाइड किया जाना चाहिए पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा डिसाइड होना चाहिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट नहीं डिसाइड करेगा तो सर मुझे लगता है कि सेम सेक्स मैरिज का जो मुद्दा है उस पर हमें एक ज्यादा सोशल कंसेंसस बनाने की जरूरत है समाज में एक ज्यादा डेलिब्रेशन की जरूरत है उसके बाद हम हो सकता है कि भविष्य में इस पे ज्यादा विचारपूर्वक बात करके इसको लीगलाइज कर सकें सर
बहुत अच्छा जवाब दिया धर्मपाल आपने बहुत ही अच्छा जवाब दिया देखिए अगर इफ अभिषेक हैज हर्ड हिम करेक्टली हियर ही इज गिविंग अ वेरी बैलेंस्ड व्यू
Right,
so
sir.
in any controversial question you can oppose the government if you want there's no problem but give a balanced view now the balance that he brings about is when he says there should be a social consensus इसके बाद भी बोर्ड आपसे पूछ सकता है कि आपका क्या मत है इन्होंने बैलेंस दे दिया
Right, sir. That is what I want to ask. That
ओके
मेरा
तो आपका जो मत है दे दीजिए उसमें कोई मत हो दे दीजिए आप
but I have to also defend it and support it with strong arguments.
यस मतलब आप कोई मत होगा तो आप ह्यूमन बीइंग है ना तो किसी कारण से देंगे ना कारण बताइए क्यों दे रहे हैं और
I was
उसके लिए
just
चिंता ना
thinking.
कीजिए उसके लिए चिंता ना कीजिए कि ये सरकार की नीति पहली बात तो सरकार की कोई नीति नहीं है अभी सरकार ने कुछ बनाई नहीं है लेकिन मान लीजिए कोई नीति भी है उसको अपोज भी करें कोई नुकसान नहीं है सॉफ्टली अपने आर्गुमेंट से कीजिए ये
Okay,
कहीं नहीं
sir.
लिखा है कि आप हर चीज सरकार की मत सपोर्ट करेंगे लेकिन यू शुड स्टार्ट विद द बैलेंस मैं बार बार आप लोगों से कह रहा हूं जो ओपनिंग जितने आर्गुमेंट्स होंगे वो सब बैलेंस होंगे फिर
Okay,
बोर्ड
sir.
आपको पुश करेगा कि आपकी क्या राय है तो आप बताइए क्या राय है उसमें आपकी क्या राय है अभिषेक व्यक्तिगत राय
Sir, my opinion is that same-sex marriage should be allowed in India. I have optional as anthropology. So from anthropological point of view, I have seen that in many tribal societies also, for example, in Kerala, Nayars are there where same-sex marriage is allowed. And also it's related to fundamental right to life and right to choose one's partner. So I believe that it should be allowed, but of course is because it is about the larger society. So until a consensus is reached, till that time we have to keep on building that consensus so that we can arrive at a better decision.
Excellent answer, Abhishek. I mean, I'm getting such wonderful answers today. But इसको थोड़ा रिवर्स कर दीजिए आप. स्टार्ट कंसेंसस से कीजिए, फिर अपना व्यू दीजिए.
ओके सर.
जैसे जो इन्होंने बताया ना, अब क्या नाम भूल गया मैं, अभिषेक थे कि इन्होंने बोल रहे थे, जो हिंदी में बोल रहे थे,
धर्मपाल.
तो धर्मपाल ने जो बताया वो आप स्टार्ट कीजिए उत्तर, और उसके बाद अपनी राय दे दीजिए आप. इन्होंने कहा कि कंसेंसस बिल्ड होना चाहिए, बोल्ड होना चाहिए. उसके बाद वो कहेंगे आपकी राय क्या है. सर ये तो मेरे विचार से, आप अपने विचार से कह रहे हैं, किसी और के विचार से नहीं कह रहे हैं, कि जो आपने बात बिल्कुल सही, यू एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. In your understanding, it's a fundamental right of a person to choose his partner, her partner. How can it be denied? So that's a good answer. बोर्ड फिर भी कह सकता है नहीं ये तो बड़ा गलत है, ये है. तो आप, there could be a difference opinion. भाई आप बोर्ड में थोड़ी ना सेटल कर ले रहे हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल इश्यूज. आप अपनी बात कह रहे हैं, वो अपनी बात कह रहे हैं, आप मुस्कुराइए, वो मुस्कुराइए, झगड़िएगा नहीं.
ओके सर. यस.
There can be difference opinion. भाई अगर सेटल्ड हो गया होता तो क्वेश्चन ही नहीं होता भाई. Any issue that is settled is not discussed. It is only unsettled issue you are discussing. So you will admit the fact there could be a difference opinion. वो कुछ कह सकते हैं, आप कुछ कह सकते हैं. Does that answer your question, Abhishek? I think Dharmpal was raising in hand. Dharmpal, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं?
सर इसमें मैं एक चीज और ऐड करना चाहता था कि सर जो सेम सेक्स यूनियन है जिसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अलाउ कर दिया है, लेकिन जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का भी जो स्टैंड है, और इसके अलावा सर जो सामान्यतः जो इसका अपोज करते हैं, उनका मानना है कि सेम सेक्स मैरिज अलाउ इसलिए नहीं होनी चाहिए क्योंकि जो शादी के साथ जो सर एक जो सोशल इथोस जो जुड़े हुए हैं सर, कि शादी का जो पर्पज है वो बेसिकली सर इंटीमेंसी नहीं है सर, उसमें एक जो फैमिली ब्रिंग करना, उसको फैमिली को रेज करना, उसके अलावा सर जो प्रोडक्शन है सर, जो दो ह्यूमन बीइंग के बीच, ऑपोजिट जेंडर के बीच, उसको आगे बढ़ाना, उसको लेजिटिमाइज करना है. तो सर मतलब हाल फिलहाल अगर देखें तो जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो यूनियन को अलाउ कर दिया है और मैरिज को अलाउ नहीं किया है, और जो हमारी सोशल रियलिटीज है उसको देखते हुए भी सर अभी मुझे लगता है कि ये जो स्थिति है उसको मेंटेन किया रखा जा सकता है.
ठीक है, ये आपका व्यू है, बट मुझे जो अच्छी चीज लगी धर्मपाल आप में, एंड दिस इज फॉर एवरीवन टू नोट, हिंदी में एक शब्द है सहज. कितने सहज तरीके से इन्होंने अपने प्रश्न का उत्तर दे दिया. और कब है आपका इंटरव्यू धर्मपाल? कब है इंटरव्यू आपका धर्मपाल? धर्मपाल को अनम्यूट करेंगे?
सर मेरा 6 फरवरी को है सर.
बहुत बढ़िया, ऐसे ही बना के रखिए और इसी सहज तरीके से जवाब दीजिए, क्योंकि आपका जवाब सुन के नहीं लगता कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, यही करना चाहिए, यही होगा. आपने दोनों पक्षों को देखा और अपनी राय आपने दे दी. उसमें असहमति भी हो सकती है, कोई दूसरा कह सकता है नहीं आप क्यों ऐसा कर रहे हैं. ठीक है साहब, मेरी राय है ये, मैंने तो ये नहीं कहा कि मैं नियम बनाने जा रहा हूं इसका. तो राय में भिन्नता होना स्वाभाविक है, और आपका जो उत्तर है वो बड़ा स्वाभाविक है. आप किसी ग्रुप में चर्चा कर रहे हैं धर्मपाल?
हाँ सर, यही ऑफलाइन सर, कुछ दोस्तों का ग्रुप है सर.
बहुत अच्छा, वेरी गुड,
थैंक यू सर.
चलिए अब अगला प्रश्न देखते हैं. ये मृदुल पुंडीर है. अभिषेक आपके प्रश्न का तो उत्तर हो गया है, अब
यस सर,
पुंडीर
थैंक
का
यू सर.
प्रश्न देखते हैं. यस मृदुल, व्हाट इज योर क्वेश्चन?
So my question is, should caste census be conducted in the times when we have so much division on the caste lines?
Right. Should caste consensus be conducted
Census.
in the wake of so much caste division in the society? Any volunteers to answer this question? I want to see some fresh hands. देखिए, मैं ओम जी बिल्कुल कोने में मेरी स्क्रीन में हैं और बड़ा छुपने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. मैं उन्हीं से इसका उत्तर पूछूंगा. ओम, would you like to answer this question, whichever is your language, English or Hindi? कहाँ गए ओम जी? हमारे स्क्रीन से गायब हो गए. ये भी एक अच्छा तरीका है, स्क्रीन से गायब हो जाओ. मालूम नहीं
No sir, no sir. I'm audible sir.
Answer this question please.
Thank you sir. Thank you sir. In my opinion, sorry sir, should not be a start with in my opinion. Sir, caste census is a long demand made by the various caste group, because they feel that their representation has not been made through existing scheme. So their demand is to count their number and to allocate whatever the whatever the number they have and according to resources that they should be met, they should be meeting. But yes, sir, there are complications, and I think government's scheme nowadays are pushing for evidence-based decision making. Caste census can be one of the tool that can create a consensus evidence-based decision making. That then it should be happen. But yes, sir, whatever the challenges the government are saying that they are facing in terms of number of castes and there are confusion, it should be need to be weed out. Then obviously caste census should be happen.
Okay, anybody else? Any physical hand? Okay, let's go to Anushka. Yes, Anushka. Anushka, you have to unmute yourself. Administrator, please help her unmute herself. Yes.
So the issue of caste reservation has been a prominent issue in Indian politics as such. The demand for caste census arises from for extending the issue of affirmative action in Indian society.
I'm stopping you, Anushka, here. Everyone note how she has opened the answer. She's not started with yes or no. She's giving a bit of a background. You know, it helps her think and answer.
Yes.
It gives her a time of about 15 seconds to formulate her answer. Many of you jump into the answer. Here, she's giving an impression that she's giving this a thought. It's a very, very important strategy to do well in an interview. Don't jump on to the answer of yes and no. She's opened a remark by saying, by agreeing to the fact that caste census is a contentious issue. So by saying that, she's bought herself time about 5-10 seconds and she's opened. It's like, जैसे हिंदी में प्रस्तावना कहते हैं ना आपने, किसी भी ऐसे की उत्तर की एक प्रस्तावना इन्होंने दे दी. Very important. You must practice all this. Please carry on, Anushka.
So, sir, the issue of caste census basically arises from is necessary to extend the affirmative action which the Indian government has been trying to extend justice to the actual marginalized and the exclusion of the exclusionary sections. Therefore, an empirical database is necessary to give the targeted people whatever they deserve. However, there are issues of divisive politics and politicization of the data that is being gathered. This could be countered in a way that the data should be kept secret and not be open to the public as such. However, the data should be used in the policy formation of social welfare and justice to get through the divisive politics of need.
Another very good answer, Anushka, but you have opened another door here. You have mentioned it should be kept secret, meaning thereby there would be many more questions on secrecy in government. You should be prepared for that. And they could go into transparency in the government, what data should be revealed, why it should not be revealed. Be prepared for those answers. But the answer is very good. Anybody else attempting to answer this question? Okay, we have Prateek Mishra. Yes, Prateek.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Prateek.
So the rationale behind caste census is to secure adequate representation of the marginalized communities for securing various government resources. Sir, this presents problems of divisive politics based on caste lines. So there are certain other steps that the government can take. One is the socioeconomic caste census was already conducted in 2011 and the data has not been made public. The government can begin with publicizing of that data because it has already done such enumeration back in 2011. And second, the Supreme Court has also recently allowed subcategorization of caste in one of its judgment. These are the two steps that can be used to improve the existing system. If that doesn't work, then we can move toward conducting an enumeration of caste-based census.
Okay, good. Any more observation on this? We can go on to the next question. I think very good answers that have emerged. I would want all of you to listen to all this carefully on how structuring of answers is happening. In some of the cases, I find that though you know the answer, but you are not able to articulate it in the manner that you would want to, not me, but even you would want to. So when you listen to yourself, when I say in the morning you should read and record what you are reading, the editorial article aloud and speaking it out, you are listening to yourself. And then you will understand where you are going wrong and you will be able to improve yourself. Group discussions are also helpful in that case. Okay, Shrey, over to you for your question.
Am I audible, sir?
You are audible.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So recently, Uttarakhand government has implemented Uniform Civil Code, and there is a provision in that those who are living in a living relationship, they must notify that to the administration. And if that period goes more than 1 month, it also can attract criminal offense and criminal imprisonment. So don't you see it as a breach of right to privacy, especially of those who are adult and can take their own decisions?
Okay, any answer to this question? Anybody? Okay, Dharampal ji, आता हूं मैं आपके पास, रुकिए. और people who have not spoken, I'm looking at who haven't spoken so far. SSS, who hasn't spoken? I have somebody by the name of K. Please unmute yourself and answer this question. Please introduce yourself also, since we don't know.
My name is Kirti Sai Shukla.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, can I get the question again?
Okay, formulate your question, not the background. Formulate your question, Shrey. Shrey, unmute yourself, formulate your question.
Yes, sir. So Uttarakhand government has implemented a Uniform Civil Code, but it has been mandated under the code that those who are living in the living relationship, they must notify it to the administration within 1 month. So isn't it the breach of right to privacy of adult?
Okay. Sir, Uttarakhand government, the rationale behind the decision of Uttarakhand government is to maintain social harmony, and it is based upon the social ethos of Uttarakhand. But sir, as an individual, it may create more hassles, like one has to go and register, and the nature of relationships are also such which are very fluid in nature. So considering these cases, it may be difficult to implement it, sir. And people may face some issues, but the intention of Uttarakhand is not to harass the people, but it is to have a social harmony, sir.
Okay, before I go to somebody else to answer this question, I have been repeatedly suggesting that how are you so determined that this is the intention of Uttarakhand government? Are you part of the government?
No, sir.
No. So you'll say, sir, apparently the intention is this.
Okay.
You can't say this is the, until it's listed out. If you read somewhere this is the intention of the government, fine. I mean, if I were to answer this question, I don't know the background. So I'll say, sir, apparently it could be for this reason. But if you know it for sure, then you can say what you're saying. So what you have to be honest to yourself. Whether you are taking whatever Uttarakhand government is saying on the basis of what you've heard or what you know. If it's on the basis of what you heard, you say, on the basis of what I've heard, this appears to be their objective. And then you can carry on with what you're saying. There could be a different opinion, whatever you're saying. All I'm suggesting to all of you is the structuring of the answers. How do you structure the answers? I'm sure all of you have good enough knowledge to answer any question that is asked of you. The problem here is not of knowledge, and that's why I keep repeating, don't unnecessarily spend time in libraries, spend time in talking. Library, you're sitting yourself and reading. You can if you want to read, I'm not saying you don't, but not at the cost of talking. I mean, I am aghast when people tell me, sir, I couldn't attend the group discussion because I have to go to the library. I said, what are your priorities here? So that is what you should. Okay, we go to Dharampal, who's raised his hand. आप बताइए धर्मपाल जी, आपकी क्या राय है इस बारे में?
सर, उत्तराखंड गवर्नमेंट ने जो अभी लिव इन रिलेशनशिप को रजिस्टर करने का जो डिसीजन दिया है, उसके द्वारा सर जो लिव इन रिलेशनशिप का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है सर, उसको हम थोड़ा रेगुलेट कर सकते हैं। और खास तौर से सर जो लिव इन रिलेशनशिप में महिलाएं हैं, उन जो कि ज्यादा प्रोन है टू हरेसमेंट और बाकी चीजों के, तो उनको इस मामले में सर एक सुरक्षा का भरोसा मिल सकता है सर। और दूसरी बात मैं कहूंगा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने एक डिसीजन में जो लिव इन रिलेशन के माध्यम से जो बच्चा पैदा होता है उसका, और सर इनहेरेंटेज के जो राइट्स है सर, उनके विषय में भी महिलाओं को अधिकार दिए हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ सर, इन जो ये दोनों चीजों को कंसिडर करें तो लिव इन रिलेशनशिप को रजिस्टर करना एक अच्छा कदम है। लेकिन सर इसमें समस्या ये है कि इस जो रजिस्ट्रेशन के जो डेटा है सर, या जो पहचान है, उसका प्रयोग हरेसमेंट के लिए किया जा सकता है, कपल्स को हरेस करने के लिए। और लगातार इनको हर महीने रजिस्टर, हर 6 महीने के बाद रजिस्टर करने की जो प्रक्रिया है सर, वो भी थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट हो सकती है। तो सर एक इसमें ये हो सकता है कि रजिस्ट्रेशन की प्रक्रिया तो बनी रहे, लेकिन जो रजिस्टर करने की प्रक्रिया सर, उसको फेसलेस कर दिया जाए और ह्यूमन इंटरफेरेंस उसमें कम हो, ताकि जो कपल है उनकी प्राइवेसी बनी रहे और उनको हरेस नहीं किया जाए सर।
बहुत अच्छा धर्मपाल, गॉड ब्लेस यू, आई एम श्योर यू डू वेल, आप अच्छा करेंगे इंटरव्यू। आपकी मुझे सबसे अच्छी चीज सहजता है और दूसरा व्यवहारिकता है। आप बड़े व्यवहारिक उत्तर देते हैं। मैं तो 38 साल के कार्यकाल के बाद इन उत्तर को स्ट्रगल करता हूँ कभी कभी। ऐसा लगता है कि आप परिपक्व एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हैं, बड़ा प्रैक्टिकल आप सजेशन देते हैं। वेरी गुड। और कोई है इसमें उत्तर किसी का? दवाई हम इसको आगे बढ़ाते हैं। आई थिंक हमारे पास अच्छे काफी उत्तर आ गए हैं, जिससे हम अगला प्रश्न ले लें। अनिल कुमार ओझा, आप यू कैन आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
गुड इवनिंग अनिल।
सर अतुल।
सॉरी अतुल। यस अतुल।
सर मैं आंसर में ऐड करना चाहता था, अगर आप परमिट करें तो।
बताइए। यस प्लीज गो अहेड। या योर मीडियम इज इंग्लिश और हिंदी?
सर हिंदी मीडियम है मेरा।
हिंदी है?
जी सर।
हाँ ठीक है, बिल्कुल बताइए, ऐड कीजिए।
सर लिव इन रिलेशनशिप एक कंटेंशियस मुद्दा है अभी हमारे सोशल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर देखें तो जैसा कि सर बताते हैं कि कोई भी पॉलिसी या कोई भी स्कीम पॉलिटिकली एक्सेप्टेबल और सोशली डिजायरेबल होनी चाहिए। जब तक उसका अच्छे से उसे सोसाइटी एक्सेप्ट करे तभी वो लागू हो सकती है। तो यहाँ पर जो डिसीजन लिया गया है रेगुलेट करने का, वो सेफ्टी वर्सेस प्राइवेसी को के डिबेट में वो आ गया है कि एक तरफ सेफ्टी देखनी है वुमेन्स की और उसे लीगल एम्बिट में लाना है, जो अभी लिव इन रिलेशनशिप रेगुलेटेड नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है सर ये उस सेंस में कदम ठीक है। हालांकि इसमें एक सेफ गार्ड ऐड कर सकते हैं कि प्राइवेसी का, क्योंकि वो भी फंडामेंटल राइट है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के हिसाब से। तो उसको अगर ध्यान में रखते हुए करें तो ये दोनों ही राइट्स को अपहोल्ड करेगा और अच्छा स्टेप होगा मुझे लगता है लिव इन रिलेशनशिप को आगे लेकर जाने में।
Okay, I think that's a good addition to what, but I will still go by what Dhanpal says. That's a very balanced view of answering this question. जो आप बात कर रहे हैं ये भी सही है। I don't see any other hand for a question. Is that okay? Now, क्वेश्चन के लिए है या आप किशन कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? किशन बताइए। पुनीत अभी I'll come back to you. Yes, Kishan.
Sir, I have a question.
Do you have a
Sir,
question?
yes,
Yes.
sir. Sir, in recent controversy between the governor of Tamil Nadu and the chief minister, where the governor walked out of the assembly without addressing, sir, how do we see the relevance of the office of governor and what role the central government can play in the solving these disputes? Because, sir, as far as the governors, they are appointed by the honorable president on the recommendation of the union government. So, what role that can play and what is the relevance of the office of governor, sir?
Okay. Any volunteers to answer this question? Any volunteers? अभी तक जो नहीं बोला मैं उनसे पूछता हूं पहले। युगांश भटनागर, आप जितना छुपेंगे, अब तो फॉर्चुनेटली आपने कैमरा खोल रखा है तो मैं तो पकड़ लेता हूँ, ठीक है। हाँ
Good
युगांश
evening, sir.
गुड
Good
इवनिंग
evening, sir.
युगांश। यस।
Sir, to answer Kishan's question about relevance of office of governor, so sir, in a federal state like India, office of governor act as a link between center and state. So it is relevant for maintaining that sir, to have a coordination among all the units. So for that it is relevant. Apart from that, governor is also the executive head of the state, and all the decisions are taken in his name. Sir, and regarding the second part, what steps could central government take to resolve this controversy? So, sir, several committees have recommended that CM should be consulted before appointing a governor, or a politically neutral person can be appointed as a governor who does not have any interest in that state's politics. So those steps can be considered as a solution.
Okay, anybody else wanting to volunteer to answer this question? I don't see any physical hand coming up. Is it that difficult a question that there aren't volunteers here to answer this question? आपको तो बोर्ड में पूछा जा सकता है. You could be asked this question. Ankit Agrawal. Anushka will come to you. Ankit Agrawal. आपका माध्यम हिंदी है और your medium is English?
Good evening, sir. My medium is English, sir.
क्या English हिंदी?
English, sir, English.
English. Okay. So answer this question.
First of all, sir, the governor is executive head of the state, and it is a very important link in between the center and the state government in maintaining the federal structure of the Constitution of India. Coming to the issues of the governor, it has been seen right since the formation of the office of governor. There were multiple instances that there is not harmony between the chief minister, the state-led government, and the governor. So the issue with the governor that we can go ahead with various commissions like Sarkaria commissions and Punchi commission has already pointed out that we need to choose the governor not just by the recommendation of the central government, but the state consent should also be taken while appointing a governor. Secondly, as like a politically neutral person can be given the role of the governor, just like we can see in the case of Manipur, where like Ajay Bhalla sir, who has taken the charge of governor, who was the former home secretary, and further the removal process of governor or like the conduct of the governor should be examined by the Supreme Court from time to time. If he is just like in the case of Delhi government, where there was not proper coordination between the state government and the governor, the Supreme Court came in between and given his rulings. So in these ways, we can maintain the office of governor to be in a fruitful direction for policy formulation. Thank you.
Okay, now let me try and suggest an answer here. If I were to answer this question, I would say, sir, yes, there have been instances of discord between the governor and the state government, but it may not be appropriate to say that this is not functional. In majority of the state, it is working. The governor-state relationship is pretty okay, and most of the states are working. It is in the exceptional states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala and some other states where this problem has arisen. For this, we have to look at some of the recommendations that have been given in the past. So, आपने क्या किया? आपने ने कहा कि बिल्कुल गिर गया है, गवर्नर का इंस्टीट्यूशन बेकार हो गया है, खत्म हो गया है, डेमोक्रेसी खत्म हो गई है, ये नहीं. As a budding civil servant, you should start with hope and end with hope. And in between, you building all the discord and find reasons in it. I'm just trying to tell you how to package your answer. I think the answers given were okay. But you should start by trying to give a balance straight away. Yes, there have been, don't deny what he's saying. Yes, there have been instances. But sir, it may not be appropriate to say that the entire relationship government and governor, even in certain opposition root states, the governor relationship is fine. But in some states, it is not fine. So let us look at the reasons why it is happening. Is it the personality of that specific governor that has happened? Is it on account of that state government that it is happening? Look at West Bengal. Let us look at it this way. Or look at some other states where one governor, when was removed, the other government, you do not have any problem. So it could be individual. It could be political. So we have to examine these aspects. And then in the light of recommendations given in the past, approach and provide a solution. Now, you're not supposed to say, ye kar denge to problem khatam ho jayegi kal se. You're not expected. But by structuring your answer in this manner, you would have actually approached an answer in a manner which the board will find very good. Now, I see more hands there, but we have run out of time. It was an hour. I can assure you that we'll have another round of session. I will give a date. Those of you who are interested can come in and benefit from the answers, the one from Anushka and others. Dharampal, all of you, I'm sure you all are going to do very well. Keep it that way. I will repeat a few suggestions which I've been giving in the past. Don't miss out on any of the sessions. On the 6th, I think on the 12th, we have another good ranker, rank 23 in the IS, who's coming to talk to you. Try and use that opportunity to understand what did she do to get good marks in the interview. Attend other sessions also, but most importantly, regularly participate in group discussions, come what may. Your priorities should be straight. Even if you're good, you will improve. 2 marks can make a difference. I think I told last time, in my batch, on the same mark, one person got the IS, other did not get the IS. So the competition becomes very, very tough there. So every mark is important. You don't have control over results, but you have control over your action. So please prioritize and participate in group discussions and pursue in the morning. I'm reaching out to some of you individually who have your interviews. My request to all of you is, even here, that after you through with your interview, if you can send your transcript to Rajat, as has been done in the past. We have been guiding you on the basis of people like you who are qualified for the civil service and were kind enough to send us the transcript so that we could assess the coming generations also. So we'll request you that. I'll be writing to you as well. All the best to you. Keep smiling. That's very, very important. Enjoy yourself. You've done wonderfully well so far. I'm sure you're going to do well as well thereafter. We'll meet again. We'll first meet on the 12th. Then we'll meet on the 16th. I'm taking physical sessions also. There's a long list, but it's first come, first serve. I'll continue to take those physical. I'm also taking online session. I mean, I've already interacted with around 100 of you online, and I'll continue to do that. Anyone interested in a one-on-one discussion, approach Rajat, and I'll be available. You have to adjust to my timing because right now I'm sitting in Goa. Yesterday I was in Bombay. So I travel a lot. So I have to adjust my timing. But I'll be available to you. In any case, any one of you want to reach out to me, you have my phone number. Please message me. So far, I have responded to every message, and I shall do that in future as well. God bless you. Take care. And as I said, keep smiling.